How do you feel about that post that says that your company is going to close for the public holiday, which it never closed for? How do you feel about the fact that your pay may be delayed due to an accounting error? How do you feel about the situations within your organisation or between organisations? Feeling is very important. It makes companies, as I mentioned at the start, about people and not about numbers and not about nondescript individuals. It connects people together. So the ability to add emotions and reactions is very important for us. What is also important for us, as we speak about today, as I stand in Vietnam and speak in English, which is terrible, and I do apologise, is the fact that we communicate and we work across regional and national boundaries. We need to be able to translate. Now, unfortunately, due to the AV issue that we have, the video that runs here doesn't run, but if it did run, the user would click on See Translation, and the Japanese text would be translated into the language of the individual who's reading it. So we draw from all of the research and investment that we've done within Facebook.com, and we bring that into WorkPlace to allow for real-time connections and discussions between people across boundaries. Very important. Just as important as being able to talk to individuals in groups and to collaborate within those groups is the ability to have instant conversations with individuals. Now, we've all done this in our personal lives with Facebook Messenger, with WhatsApp, Google Hangouts, Line, WeChat, but doing it within your organisation is very important too. The ability to communicate with a single person or multiple people via text, via conference call, via audio, or potentially via video is very important. So WorkChat is the tool within our WorkPlace offering that allows you to have real-time conversations between yourself and your staff. It allows for direct, instant conversations by a multitude of different communication types: text, video, audio. Video calling, the ability to call in a far richer way between two individuals. That allows you as an organisation to have, again, a far more authentic and personal connection over a video call with the people that you're talking with. So video calling is very important, and again, unfortunately, the video isn't rolling here, but just as you know within Facebook Messenger, you have the ability within WorkChat to communicate via video. Now, there are 4 key things that I feel and that we feel as a company are very important about WorkPlace. The first is, it's familiar. No one in this room put their hand up when I said, did you not use Facebook? Now, it's not to say that everyone uses Facebook. A large amount of the world, and especially in Asia, we're humbled by the fact that a very large number of people in Asia really find value in our product. So it is familiar. You know what you're doing. You know how to use the platform. Now, one reason that we're here working with GoPomolo is because even though it's familiar, for your company to really get the most out of WorkPlace, we work very closely with partners because there is change. You are doing things in a different way. This isn't a place for you to post photos of food. This is a place for you to do work. And working with partners allows us to help guide you for a small period of time as to how to set up WorkPlace. Because even though it's familiar, there are certain things that you will do in your business life in a different way. So number 1, it's very familiar. Second is it is mobile first. It really is mobile first. So when we say that Tony at AirAsia, for example, who has people standing on the tarmac at airports around the world, or if we look at Save the Children, who have an amazing group of individuals out helping children on a daily basis around the world, they use it on their mobile devices first. Pardon me. They use it on their mobile phones. They aren't carrying around laptops. So you have to be mobile first. And we are exceptionally good at driving mobile interfaces that people find compelling. And that is very important here because you want a tool that is functional. You want a tool that you know and you want a tool that you can use. It is the heart of the business. So what we are doing, companies that utilise WorkPlace successfully really embrace the technology. You see email usage dropping significantly, amazingly. I see myself, I've now been with Facebook for 7 months, about 7 months. I would imagine I now get maybe 20 emails a day. I'd imagine that's probably an 80%, 90% drop in my email usage. And the amazing thing here is, as it's retained knowledge, as I mentioned before, I can search for things that were happening before I was even in the company. So when we run our F8 event in the US once a year, and I need to understand how I can have people from Asia get in certain countries that need invitation letters to enter the US, I can find a post from 2 years ago within a couple of seconds that tells me exactly how to do it. I don't need to interface with anyone to get that information that someone asked that question about 2 years ago. It's very important. It becomes the heart of the business. But also, and probably most important for people in this room, is to understand it is separate from what you do in your personal lives. It is separate and it is secure. You own the data. We utilise our global best practices that allow us to deliver Facebook.com to billions of people around the world. We utilise that knowledge to protect your data and to be stewards of your data as you use our platform. So, who is using WorkPlace? I've got maybe another 10 minutes to talk about some of the companies that are doing some really exciting things with WorkPlace. And one of those that I find amazing is Starbucks. So Starbucks, very large global organisation, as many of you would know, sells coffee and related products around the world. They have a very, very large workforce that is mobile, that do not sit behind desks. And they need to be more efficient in the way that they communicate. Now, in the way that they communicate between staff, between restaurants is very important. But just as important is how the new CEO can communicate via WorkPlace Live with all of their staff. And what is really interesting here is the screenshot that you see here is from the CEO presenting at their annual board members meeting. And what I find amazing about that is he's talking about using Facebook, using WorkPlace. This would be the first time I've ever seen at a board, at a shareholders meeting, a CEO talking about enterprise software within their business. Because it is so fundamental to the way that they work now that he was telling his shareholders about how they're being more reactive, more responsive using WorkPlace. So it's an absolute fantastic story. And more broadly than that, it allows their company to be more efficient in the way that they serve their customers. So it's a great, great use case. The video's not going to play, so I'm already talking through it. No, let's not worry about it. So, in summary, if I look at some of our global customers that are using WorkPlace today, what you see on the screen here is a very broad set of brand names, many of which that you would know. Booking.com are absolutely fanatical users. They use the product more than we do internally as Facebook, that I find amazing. AirAsia I've spoken about, Jet Airways in India, YesBank that's not up on the slide here in India, Starbucks as I mentioned, Stanley Black & Decker. Some really big names in very different industries. There is no one industry that utilises WorkPlace more than another. But what we've found amazing is the name down here with the Singapore government. So about 2 years ago, don't quote me on the time frames here, the Singapore government announced that they were removing internet access for all their public servants. They were using email and internal meetings. And a couple of months later, they've turned around to the market, without our knowledge actually, and stated that they made a decision to actually allow one web-based solution, and that being WorkPlace. So you have 140,000 public servants within the Singapore government across 92 different government departments communicating and interacting with each other and being more engaged using WorkPlace. An amazing story, a complete turnaround for a government. And in doing so, the Singapore government being known for its digital innovation, really showing, I feel, the world how governments can work, as opposed to how governments have worked in the past. Some really famous names. In addition to that, we've only been in Vietnam, to be frank, for a very short period of time. We're only now starting to have conversations with companies such as the one that we're having right now. But what you see is also some really interesting companies from FPT, the wider FPT group, with all of its sub-companies, Valvet Life, who I had the fortunate privilege of meeting and talking with yesterday in regards to how they've found this platform so engaging for their staff to communicate between each other that they now want to integrate it with their other back-end business systems. How do they make application processing more efficient? How do they make claims more efficient? How can they integrate that into their core business tool, which is WorkPlace? So you see on the slide here a broad range, but a very small set of organisations. Now the other reason it's small is because we have a very focused team in Asia, which is only now starting to bring the solution to the wider market. And just as we see in Singapore, just as we see in India, in Japan, we see usage starting to pick up as we start to broaden the wording and the stories around WorkPlace within the markets. So I think a really nice mix of local companies as well, and that next time we come back in 6 months' time and see how much this slide's grown. There's a lot of really interesting opportunities that are in the pipe right now. So, I mentioned when I was talking about Valviet about non-human-to-human interactions. Because even though one of the most important things within your business life is how you communicate with other people within your company, you also communicate with other systems. HR, I communicate with HR on a monthly basis when I'm taking holiday. I communicate with payroll and finance every month when they pay me. If I'm in sales, I communicate with the CRM system so people know where I am in regards to my sales. If I'm a software developer, I'm utilising an array of developer systems. If I'm in support, I have ticketing systems, I have monitoring systems. How do I integrate those into my daily life to be more efficient in what I do? And that's what we're here to talk about now. The first part of that is how do I integrate my internal digital assets, my file systems, my cloud-based file stores. So as of our F8 event, we made some very large announcements with the integration of WorkPlace in the box, into Dropbox, to Google Drive, OneDrive, and certain other systems that allow you to share data more efficiently. It also allows you to preview data more efficiently because we can preview the information within WorkPlace, as you see right here. So within the tool, being able to see snapshots of the information that you're communicating about. I have a new document which talks about my strategy for the next quarter. You're not just talking about it, you're attaching the document and people are communicating in structured group conversation about that document. And they're communicating not only in your native tongue, they're communicating in whatever other language they feel comfortable in, and it's doing the auto-translation, as I mentioned before. We also, as I briefly touched on at the start, integrate with a wide array of security and identity providers. We don't expect organisations to utilise Facebook and WorkPlace in isolation. We need to be able to integrate with your back-end identity and access management system so you have a seamless connection between onboarding and offboarding and access control of your staff. Now, one of probably the most exciting areas though are the bots, the automated agents that companies are integrating into WorkPlace. Within our personal lives, we've known them as chatbots over the years. We like to refer to them as just bots when we're talking about WorkPlace, because it's not just around conversations. They can do some very smart things for me. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples now. I'm going to leave that because we're about 5 minutes late. So, this here is how, if you come to a Facebook office, this is how you enter a Facebook office everywhere around the world. What you see is a tablet. That tablet says, am I there for a social event, an interview, a meeting, or am I a vendor? You enter your details, you sign, and what then happens is I am sitting in my office or wherever I am, I get a notification that says you're at the door. Pretty simple. But it makes the connection between reception and staff more efficient. And if I don't respond, it will keep on bugging me. Or I can say I'm going to be 10 minutes late. It's a very easy business problem that has been solved with the bot within WorkChat. Now, something else that we do a lot of is interviews. When I am 15 minutes out from an interview that I'm having, I have a bot that says, you're interviewing X, Y, and Z. Luke Walsh, an example in this case. He or her CV, have a quick read of it before you go into the interview. That's really important to be able to get that information very, very quickly. Now again, my video here is blocked, so I'm going to talk about what one of our partners has done in another area of the world, integrating WorkPlace into Salesforce. Can I hear music? No, that's all right. I thought I could hear music. So, say I have a group, and that group is my Southern Region sales group. And I have everyone within sales within that group. And Salesforce is my sales tool. It's my CRM, customer relationship management tool. And I want to find out, in the conversation that I'm having, what were the figures for the Southern Region for last month. Within the bot, I can very quickly ask the Salesforce bot, give me the numbers, and it will draw the report in and drop that report into WorkPlace. Now I can click on a link, I can go into Salesforce if I need to, but I don't need to in this case. I simply just need the data to have a conversation, to start a dialogue with other people within my sales group. So that is very important. We're seeing companies extending our platform into a very wide set of other tools that they use within their day-to-day lives. So, as I finish up, before I finish up, Mario is going to go into a lot more detail later on around bots and around how they're being used and the work that GoPomelo is doing. But the key takeaway for you now is that before we get to bots, the key thing is to ensure that your companies are more efficient in how they communicate and your staff are more engaged. And from our point of view, the fact that it's familiar, the fact that it's mobile first, the fact that you own the data means that WorkPlace does and is becoming the real heart of a large number of companies. And we'll be absolutely thrilled to have more conversations with you in regards to WorkPlace within your organisations. But I think I'm perfectly, if I look at my watch, perfectly out of time. Thank you all for your time. We have a really interesting follow-on after the break. And following on from that, I would love to answer as many questions as we can from you. So with that said, we hand back to Mario. Mario.
Thank you, Andy. That's fantastic. Really appreciate that insight into WorkPlace. We're going to take a short break now. We have some refreshments outside, some teas, some cakes, things like that. So please, y'all take some time. We'll join back about 10:15, so in about 15 minutes. If you guys